How can something as beautiful as this be dying? A plague is ruining the land, but the Tree of Life still stands. Question is, for how long? End is coming to the New World. The tribes stand divided, in need of someone strong enough to unite them, or bring them all down. This is a story with an unusual beginning. Welcome to Biomutant. Encode your DNA. Define your genetic structure. Choose a genetic resilience. Choose your first style. Pick your main color. Choose your detail color. Pick a class. Commando. Psy-Freak. Saboteur. Sentinel. Deadeye. Commando. Psy-Freak. Commando. Deadeye. Deadeye chosen. That'll work. Here's somebody with a troubled past. drawn into the spotlight of a story that's already begun. We're already at a crossroad, but for you, it's not only a crossroad, but a choice. A reflection of your key, the primal energy that flows through everything.
Let me introduce myself. I'm the light and bright side of you, or your inner voice to be precise, an echo of balance and consequence of your actions as you move forward.
That's right. Light is only for those having difficulty seeing what's in front of them. Sticking to the me first path is the only way we'll be going places.
I'm surprised at the change of heart.
You can't fight.
You're trying to keep us in...
Right is always right. Stories of death and the bodies left behind. A reminder that we're at the mercy of nature and the one that preys on others. Do you remember the beast that shattered your family? Or did you choose to forget? You turned your back on our world and got lost in your own. Meanwhile, the predator only grew stronger. Better make a run for it. This is not the time nor place to end this story. This time, it was best to run and live to fight another day. Let us hope you're ready for it when it comes. The Predator isn't the only threat. The wildlife started to mutate when the end of days began, and the Tree of Life started to die. Pang, pang. The oil sludge is everywhere. To most, it only means death. But some have adapted to the new environment and changed with it. Evolution has its ways. emergency box from the once was. A rare sight. That pipe looks weak. The claw bar should come in handy. Whoa! It's time to find a way out of this place. No, really, I mean it. The Morks produce biomatter in their multi-organ that they shed under distress. Blobs that affect the cellular coding strands of any living being when absorbed, including you. It's in your grasp. Toxanol built vessels called arks to save themselves from the impending doom. But was it too late? It is only from the flight logs of the single ark they left behind that we know other arks traveled through the sky and beyond. It seems those that came before us never lost hope in finding a new home for their kind. Definitely not open. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There are few records of the chain of events that led to the big apocalypse eons ago, but it's clear the world wasn't prepared for how recklessly their rare earth mining and nuclear industries generated tons of waste, and without consideration for the future, they dumped it all in landfills until they ran out of space. That's when they made the big mistake. They began dumping the toxic waste in the surf just off the coast instead, assuming that it would sink and decay with time. And they were right, but no one was prepared for what was about to unfold. The sound of spark metal going pew-pew is never a good thing. It's coming from behind that door. A warning label. The box looks like a potential brain melt. It's going to take a bit of puzzling to short-circuit the door. Just a few moves left. Make them count. There you go. The wheeled one is outnumbered. You'd better help him out. That's the last of them. Let's talk to the wheeled one before backup arrives. He wants to thank you for taking his side against the scavengers. He sounds familiar. You just can't figure out why. He presents himself as out of date. He knows he's way overdue, but he hasn't given up. He doesn't seem surprised that you don't recognize him. You were just a child back then, the night everything changed. There have been rumors of a one-eyed Ronin seen outside the Great Wall, and he's happy to see it's true. The legend of the one-eyed child that grew up as an outcast is old and sad. The child could have been anyone, but the evil it had fled had left a mark, a facial scar to remember the past. It's a scar you're covering under that eye patch, isn't it? But he would have recognized you anyways. You look exactly like your Muma. There's no doubt you're the child, and that what Lupa Lupin did to your village, your Muma and Popsy, was the beginning of the end. He says it has taken you a long time to bring the past back up to the present, to find your way back, but he's grateful you have. It was after the attack that the unity fell apart. Your Muma's disciples divided and formed tribes as a reaction to the blight that had fallen upon the land. The impending threat of the World Eaters bringing down the Tree of Life is ever so close. He also worries about the Jagni tribe that's actively working for a doomsday and purging of the world. Had it not been for the Tree of Life, no one would have survived. He hopes you at least remember the tree. Asks if you were tired, as it's a bit of a hike here from the village. He wonders if your Muma knows you are here. You're such a good child, so you probably did. Even the young forget. He understands why you came all the way out here, to see them, the potato people. Magic? He claims it's just the force of life, the existence of energy. The Nono prefer to hide in glitter grass. He says you should get over there and ruffle it. See if you can make one come out of hiding. You've found one. You should be proud. They don't come out for everyone. The Nono's key energy is just what the Pensai needs to complete its cycle and grow into a tree of life. You'll need a net to catch the Nono, and he wants you to use... He's grateful for all the help he can get. There's lots of Nono out there that need to be guided to the roots of the Pensai tree. Oh, it'll need a continuous flux of ki over the 12 months to come, so countless, he'd say. One day, he hopes the tree will have grown tall enough to sustain the world. But today, your focus is getting this one to become one with the tree. Now that you've seen the Nono's connection with the tree with your own eyes, you have no reason to doubt. From this day on, he'll make nurturing the Pensai into a tree of life, a life goal, not only for our village's sake, but for all of us, everyone. One day, the land won't be as peaceful. Not even your Muma will be able to protect us. You can already see the effects from how reckless those before us acted, and unless something changes, we're doomed. The land won't survive the side effects of the old world's industrial advances. He says you'd better hurry back to the village before your Muma comes looking for you. You did No, she's got lots on her mind and needs rest after the raid last night on the Lupin camp with her disciples. Wonders if they let the Predator family live or not. He lost you there for a while, but no memory is alone. It's part of a trail you can follow. He says he remembers every single day he devoted to growing the Tree of Life, but now he's afraid it might be in vain. The tree started to die when the end of days begun, and it wasn't long after that that the World Eaters arrived. The genetic evolution that occurred after the apocalypse that Toxanol Corporation inflicted on the land set the World Eaters' DNA into overdrive. His friend Gizmo is working on a Mekton and needs help defeating the Jumbo Puff at the end of the West Route. Wiz is still repairing his octopod to confront the Merc Puff that dwells deep down under the surface at the end of the Northwest Route. Noko has tamed the Majut and is preparing to take on the Hoof Puff at the end of the east route. Finally, Goop is almost done with the Googlide, a machine able to ride the waves of the surf all the way out to the Porky Puff at the end of the route to the southeast. Out of Date says his friends are gearing up to stop the World Eaters. There's one at the end of each route. The road ahead won't be easy, but he's counting on your support. His friends aren't strong enough to end this on their own. He wants you to understand that you'll all... His friends have prepared something specific for each World Eater. The Mekton, the Octopod, the Majut, and the Googlide are almost ready to ride. Regardless, you'll meet again once you've played your part in the tribe war and the situation with the World Eaters. You're getting the hang of it. Quickest way out is through the roof where they came in, and the rope looks strong enough to climb. Know that the Tree of Life is dying. Its days are numbered. Without help, it can't endure the environmental change and assault from the World Eaters. A signpost maps it out for the cartographically challenged. Let's see. Must be the World Eater that chewed off Out of Date's leg. You'll need a hat trick to bring that down. The World Eaters have made their marks on our world over time. That's not the first nor the last village it'll leave in its wake. Look, a survivor. Glad to see someone made it out alive. He's heard the stories about the terror inflicted by the World Eaters to other enclaves. He worries there won't be much left to save if this continues, even if the Tree of Life... He doesn't know what your connection is to this place, but something tells him you've stayed true to your heart. Anyway, he needs help and says it's by your actions you'll be judged, not by your intentions. He's grateful for that. You still seem to have a spark of light in you.
That's a spark of light in you!
What's there to like about light? It hurts to look at.
Not as much as it hurts to look at you.
Always making this personal.
And you're always trying to pretend it's not.
There's Out of Date again. He must have missed something important. Out of Date says you will make a better stand against the World Eaters. The Myriad tribe is likely to be a good match as they act on the understanding of the greater good and have a code of honor. Regardless of who you choose, it won't be easy, as the conflict between the tribes is... The Myriad's conviction to stop the World Eaters began when the Leviathans rose from the depths of the surf. Siding with the Myriad's movement for wholeness in a fragmented world might seem like the logical thing to do, but is it the right thing? One thing's certain, though. Destiny arrives all the same. The Jagni tribe only ever had one conviction: to bring balance to the world by wiping out the weak. They believe a cleansing is necessary to restore the world and want to let the World Eaters bring down the Tree of Life. But siding with Jagni isn't necessarily a bad thing. Fate will find a way. Out of Date says someone needs to break the stalemate and shift the balance of power to... He believes the tribe Sifus, Myriad especially, will listen to you and expects you to pay at least one of them a visit and play your part. He can sense you share Myriad's view on the world. The Myriad would... Out of... Another fork in the road. It's either the tunnel or the motor bridge. What'll it be? It's unusual that natural tunnels like this still exist. Most of them got flooded. This area was beautiful before the tribe war began. Look at it now. It's a war zone. That's the Myriad tribe's fortress. Will they be friends or foe? You should head up there. That way you'll know. Let's see. It's a beaten path to that door. If you go there, you'd better make an entrance. Says they're wary of strangers. They're at war. Thinks you should just put one paw ahead of the other and make your way up there. The tribe is always open to a new face.
Sibi? La panen aginkan man. Gerat na fal hutut mustugai la wute.
The Myriad tribe act on understanding of the greater good and a code of honor. They believe uniting the tribes is the only way to restore the peace. The Sifu is convinced that defeating the World Eaters and saving the Tree of Life is the only way to make the world a better place. He welcomes you to the Myriad Fort and but he was hoping you'd show up. The news of a vigilante Ronin on crusade crossing the Great Wall through the crack in Bunker 101 has preceded you. He heard you took out-of-date side against the scavengers in Bunker 101. It seems you believe in helping your next, and that... He's convinced you've returned for a reason. There's something about your spirit that sparks memories of you as a kidling. He can still sense you're kind-hearted. The Sifu says sometimes one memory can make another come to life. He hasn't thought about your Muma for ages, even though she taught him a lot. He was one of the original Wang Fu disciples. Your Muma invented Wang Fu. Originally, it consisted of unarmed combat and the 6 weapons: the boomerang, the shuriken, the bow, the staff, the nunchuk, and the hook and chain. The Sifu says it's time to set the past aside, at least for now. Myriad wants unity between the tribes. Their goal is if you believe there's some good in everyone, there's still hope for tomorrow. You'll unite the tribes and defeat the World Eaters to save the Tree of Life.
Hello?
He was hoping you'd join them. You understand that there's no harm. The Sifu was waiting for something to tip the balance in their favor, and with you by their side, he's confident you can unite the other tribes. The one you should coerce first is the Jagni. The Jagni tribe may believe that fear and hatred will lead them to domination, a vanquisition. Their kin have run out of options and found themselves backed into a corner. Even those who desire peace have been forced to prepare for war. They might bring them war, but they'll never take a... He wants you to focus. These are the new rival outposts your tribe needs to take control of. He says you'll regret not being on their side. The only way you'll learn their secrets, Wung Fu and the tribe weapon now, is if you defeat him. And that will never happen. You both have gentle minds, so they want to wage a gentle war. A war tells you not to be afraid. Your fate cannot be taken from you. Claim the rival outposts. Once you've dealt with the rivals' outposts, you'll challenge their Sifu to unite their tribe with yours and let your kin share land again. They passed the point of no return as their words lost power and see no other way forward. Seeing you brings back... Myriad wants unity between the tribes.
Porote nat.
He remembers your kind and unselfish.
Proplatch.
Anyway, the memories you make with your family are strong and can sometimes come to life. Passing the old village on your way to the first rival outpost might help.
Olo sekada poto lade tik.
Even though it's now a different place from a... offers you extraordinary prices for extraordinary things. That went well. The vendor says you can browse his... Offers you extraordinary... Says they're known for their... Sparkles about how brilliant it is to have someone like you that shares both genetics and karma.
Jollekin maa nämä mai. Nupa puno.
Wouldn't be... Better beware, that's a mump up ahead. They were hit hard by evolution, the wonky ones especially, deformed and unfurred. more graceful than ever. Time is lost on this place, but it evokes a tingling sensation. There's something special about it, drawing you closer. Let's see. As time passes, memories fade, and sometimes feelings change. It's not about who you were, it's about who you'll become. This story is far from over. Echoes of a long-lost past, like whispers in the wind. Here's someone who takes each day as it comes. He asks how you are today. Goop says he wonders where you've been. He hopes you've been out at the lake, practicing your swim. Learning to swim can be scary when you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, he's here to give you a helping hand. He thinks you should really know how to swim by now. And he'll be honored. He says, that wasn't too bad, was it? Way to go. Don't let the sound of the waves drown out your spirit. But you need practice. Lots of practice. Great things usually happen to those who never stop trying. You just need more time in the surf. That's the only way you'll ever learn. You can never try too hard. Judging by your Muma's look, it seems you forgot something. You promised you'd train with her before the sun goes down. It's... You know you can't make up for lost time. You should know, practice makes perfect. As long as it doesn't kill you, it'll only make you stronger. She'll see you at the village square. She says that's good. With a passion for learning, you'll never cease to grow. Here's another familiar face with lots on his mind. Asks how you're feeling today. He was hoping you could help him pick up some scrap for a thick... You should look for things that are recyclable. It should... He wonders what usefulness you found. He says every little thing counts. He can work wonders with almost anything and asks if... He says only a few are willing to do the little things, but if you make enough of them, they can have a big impact too. He'd love to teach you to upcycle, and the scrap you... You did well, but he can't help but wonder why you decided to craft it. He believes being He understands, but hopes you won't... He's looking forward to... It looks like she's starting to lose her patience. You know she doesn't like waiting for you. She wants to see you. Then you've got to... She wants you to grow up and start thinking for yourself. You really need to find yourself before she's gone. That's all she's ever asked of you, that you'll try and give it your best. You've always followed your own path, but this time she needs... Then start by meeting her on the... They look determined. Better watch out. He asks you to stop right there and wonders where you think you're going. He says that it's not too late for you to turn back, though. There's no way they'll let you pass. He wants to know who you think you are.
Sinsti orima, sinsti binea up.
She asks if you're hurt. What happened? She says it's nice of you to consider them, but they have weapon training at sunrise tomorrow. The most important thing is that you're... It's time to focus on your training now. You won't need Here's someone close to heart, doing what he does best.
Ja, Vaksan Malva Cherry.
Seeing you always puts a smile on your Popsy's face. He wants to know how you're feeling.
Over Bug Ad.
He heard you helped Gizmo clean up. He's proud of you.
Ja,
He asks if you could help him too before you...
Tarinman Hidlo.
He wishes that was true for your Moomer too, but guiding the village into the future and teach...
Over Bug Ad.
He suggests you get going and find him gadgets and ideas for how you can upcycle some old fabrics.
Tarinman.
He's curious to see what you found.
Will Shila Goyo. Waxandonia in a Mahmala.
He's all for renewal and has even considered making the trip out into the wilds to look for a bionucleus pool and refresh his DNA.
Sarevanyat Zap und Lumfaubsor.
He can work wonders with pretty much anything and asks if you know how to upcycle. Thinks some are and some...
Galba.
He says it's about time you learned how and offers...
Waksa u intapadan kale. Kalba.
The style might be too edgy for his taste, but it looks sharp on you.
Bestilka.
He knows she's already.
Echinia.
You should take it with you, wear it to practice.
Mishako here.
He thinks you should. She'll.
Born.
He's looking forward to seeing what you'll make next. It seems you have a talent for this.
Sadurutu.
Your Muma says it's about time you got here.
Taifanamenuma, Andro?
Wants you to understand that you can do anything if you work.
Taifanamenuma, Ferena Masalapo.
She says she is eager to get started.
Monindasa, Urasa Durut.
But there's enough time left.
Urasa Durut.
That's a good attitude as long as you keep...
Sana Yote.
Your Muma says you did well today. She's so proud of you.
Amun.
Thanks you for being such a good student.
Dere Antoro.
Been working on a present for you, with the help of Gizmo and Wiz.
Amun. Anora Kapapum.
You should go see him and find out what it is. You've deserved it.
Mustiki Muhka.
Says he's always thought so well of you, just like her. Catchy.
Anora Kapapum.
Your Muma says she's never seen an apparatus as green as this little thing. It's wonderful.
Asana Yotutupu.
She's happy you appreciate what...
Kamonu. Pialtuma.
A piece of Scraptronics like this has built-in old-world tech that makes it a potent.
Kialduma le Canorotuno.
It's called an automaton, and it's hardwired to your DNA. It'll follow wherever you go and see whatever you see.
Pialtuma.
You're lucky to have such a fine helper with you.
Taifanamenuma.
Your Muma says you look tired. No wonder. It's been a long day.
Kialduma le Canorotuno.
Rest, and you'll find strength for tomorrow. Nothing could stop Lupa Lupin from setting the world on fire.
Antoro. Kensi. Kamonu.
Your Muma urges you to blaze a trail. A burnt kidling will learn to dread fire. Give it a last burst and you'll make it.
Kalino.
Your Muma says this is it. The time has come. She must fight Lupa Lupin. This time there's no escape.
Kodotuku. Tukonda.
There's nowhere to run to this time. The time has come to...
Pala. Kodotuku. Pendrine Senema.
Whatever happens, you need to know she loves you. and
Katja to bruta.
she tells you to stay back. This is her fight. It has nothing to do with you.
Kamonu anora kapapombo.
She loves how brave you are, but she can't be worrying about... Here it comes. The past coming to haunt the present. You must go through fire and water to make it out of here. Your Muma says you can make it if you believe in it. Where she goes, you go. Blood is thicker than water. You're in deep surf. Don't make waves. The surf goes where it wants to go. It'll take you to the shore as long as you go with the flow. Death is not to be feared by one who has lived life with a pure heart. A part of her will live on in you. The creature is hungry for more. Nothing is going to stand in its way now. If a sacrifice is made for someone else, it's not lost, but passed on to the next. Life must go on. Real sacrifice comes from love and necessity when all other options are exhausted. The ultimate test of conscience is the willingness to give up anything to save what you truly care about. What you do for yourself dies with you. What you do for your kin remains and makes you immortal in their memory. As the moment fades and is lost, The only thing that remains is loneliness. It doesn't mean you'll forget your past. It simply means you need to move on. Let's see.
The tribe's caught a fluffy hulk. Better watch out, it's no pet.
They couldn't keep it down. Fluff Hulk's on the loose. You gave them no choice but to take it down, even though they'd planned to take the Fluff Hulk out to the Farfnaki League. They've received news a Ronin had strengthened their ranks and were looking... A group of myriad crusaders already headed out to Jagni's Mercador. You should hurry there and help them best the outpost. You can... Look, an emergency box. Wow, bet that Nuck makes a tight fist. Toxanol was something called a corporate juggernaut, and our world still bears the marks of the massive ecological catastrophes they inflicted upon the land. The apocalypse they caused was the end of days for their world. But for us, it was simply a beginning. Tunnels like this still carry echoes from the past. Can you hear it? Grace under pressure. Better than nothing. That notice board, filled with the leftovers of used-to-be wants. You're getting close to one of those old... The Toxanol Corporation made this place, and then just threw it away when they were done with it. Toxanol never cared about the waste, as long as they didn't have to pay to clean it up. There must be a track somewhere in this brick town. Just hope it's not... This corner of the world is called Bricktown. Be careful. Let's see. Never thought you need to get the pegs lined up to get the clothes soaker rolling. Just a few moves left. Make the Tree of Life still. You need to turn the pegs in sync. You really put a spin on it. Let's see. Treasure the coming day. The world doesn't have so many. You found the track. Amazing it wasn't destroyed. So much of this place was just discarded. Lucky the track somehow made it. No, it was never nice.
It was new once, but that's not nearly the same thing. The tracks moved on from Bricktown. Looks like the Frysparker's knobs need to be in sync if you want to get the hardware working. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's a Frysparker mindset. Boom, you got something. It's not exactly what you wanted, but you got it right away. Time for another day to begin.
A flush stool from the back in time. It's an apparatus that sink-sunks yellow juice. Seems like the tighteners on the piping need to be unturned correctly to drain the flush stool. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's what you could call a wet disaster. You need to unturn the pipe tighteners to drain the flush stool. That's the kind of trouble you really want to wash away. It's so active out here with the light. Ready to roll? The day is calling. You don't have the key energy for that. That's a resource totem, a monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. It's the Chug Yard. This box once tailed a chugger-chugger. Now it's just off track. Tribes always scavenging for scrap, and the yard has plenty to go around. But they should have stuck to looting instead of playing around with sprockets. You the Prowler. Bomper Bonkers busy ram-banging the door. This is your chance. Wow, that's good stuff. Ooh. Heroes make for the best stories. It's up to you if you want to be one. Yes, you can do anything. The sky's the limit. Now, let's take this back to Earth. Wow, you really took that all the way down to the end, in flames. Let's see. It's a wonder some of these up and downs still work. Guess they built machines better in the past. The spent nuclear fuel that Toxanol dumped in the surf had detrimental effects on the marine habitats, while the overflowing landfills contaminated the groundwater. Gizmo remembers you as a knight. But Gizmo says how you experience a memory can be different. You know the story, but sometimes the truth it brings is personal. It carries so much hate, and its insatiable hunger has only increased over the years since it claimed revenge on your parents. Gizmo says he also has re-memories from the long gone, but unlike you, he doesn't think of the past, for it's gone. He understands history made Lupa Lupin a big part of your past, your present, and soon, your future. You still believe there's some good in everyone. You still have hope for tomorrow. He says you should know that what's meant to be will always find a way, but history Gizmo encourages that. You should forgive, but never forget. It'll provide some comfort to your soul and keep the memory.
Fan that flame!
Wait, no! Bright light blinds! It's dangerous.
I've got all the cold sick burns you need, Dark.
Oh, do you have to insult me over this?
I don't have to, but I want to.
Would like to know if you ever doubt the choices you made on the path that brought you to this point. Would you have been happier going in a different direction? Figures you're either a rare person or a good... Grateful to you for coming back and doing your best to change things. You were the only chance they had. Wonders if you liked working with the Myriad. They always seemed so centered and so seeking. Figures everyone does. They seem unusually dedicated to finding them. But that's not important now. Gizmo says it's taken a long time to bring the past up to the present, and where you go from here is up to you. You need to set the... He can't leave the underyard as he has no protection against the vacuum in the dead zone, so you need to salvage scrap to up... You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the Mekton strong enough to fight the Jumbo Puff. There's short of breath and death to this zone. Better take care. He who half breathes, half lives. Don't waste too much energy. Bolted shut. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. You found the whereabouts, the deepest, darkest forest in the land, sometimes hard to see for all the trees. That's a Jagni tribe outpost. Don't get distracted by all the destruction you can see this time of day. The dark makes a fine place to hide. Chop, chop. It's Nanby, a new village for you. Hard to see too far in the darkness. Says it's bad enough the Tree of Life is keeling over. Now they have... They need your help to drive those flies away before the crops all die. Says there's a giant bellows you could use to blow... Ask if you could point it in the right direction. Well, maybe that would do the trick.
Light instantly banishes dark.
How much light do you really need?
All the light, all of it!
I mean, you could leave a little space for the dark.
All the light.
The only way to clear the nag flies out of here is to jump on those bellows and blow them away. Get hopping. You blew those flies away. Wants to know what you need to air out. A pleasure-do business. Nothing like a story with an unexpected ending. Let's see. Shopkeeper claims you won't be able to find better goods. Hopes your custom is worthwhile. Would be disappointing if you walked away. Shook on it. You can't really understand your story till it's done. Seems to... With so much night, you need lantern. Their friend Mito... Mito is open for business around the clock, so no... It's probably easy. He has so many lanterns, it would be... Bets Mito would give... Says it's about time you figure out you can't avoid helping anymore. Sometimes your mind creates an illusion where it's possible to go back in time to relive a moment in your life. We all have things in our past we wish hadn't happened, and can come to remember seeing and doing things that never happened. However, there's no doubt that what you remember makes your future different. Choose the automaton functionality you want to recall. I was wondering when you'd recall how to spring the automaton air gliders.
You seem better. Check out that day.